Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mawa High School Sports Talk podcast. Today, you're joined by senior Nicholas Bostico,
freshman Jack Zerbuck,
freshman Vaughn Carragher,
and Mr. J.
We got a great show for you guys today. So we're coming into this podcast. We have the Lions playing the 49ers and the Chiefs playing the Ravens in the NFL Conference Championship matchups. So let's just recap really quickly on the divisional round. So let's go to the Lions Buccaneers game. That was a very interesting game. In my opinion, I think you got to put a lot of respect on Baker Mayfield because he had a solid game, just didn't really have anybody help him. So what are you guys' thoughts on that game?
Yeah, he played really well, but I don't know, the defense wasn't there. He didn't really have that much time in the pocket, and he couldn't make the key throws that he needed to make. And Mike Evans didn't really get that many catches, so I feel like if they shaped that up, they could have had a chance against the Lions.
Yeah, came down. I think Mike Evans had a drop or two.
Yeah.
You know, I think that just the Lions were just too much for the Bucs defense. And yeah, Baker, no, he's gonna. You force him to throw. Eventually, he's gonna make a mistake, and I think that was what did them in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The Lions defense is also really good. They got some really good rookies on their defense.
Hutchinson had a really good season this year.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a problem this week.
All right, let's move on to the Ravens-Texans game. Very interesting game. I thought the Texans were going to take that. What's everyone's thoughts?
I had the Ravens all the way. I could tell at halftime 17-10. I could tell. It was 10-10?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, or when they came out,
it was
3-10.
3-3 going into the first and 10-10 going into the half. But what was the final? Does anyone know the
24-10, I think. No,
yeah.
31-10.
Yeah, 31-10.
All right.
And then they came out, scored a touchdown, ran away, and I was like, this game's over.
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to Lamar at the end, basically they asked him what was going on, and they hadn't played. They had the bye, so they were sitting for 2 weeks. And he said, "Yeah, we came out a little slow, but you saw in the second half they really kicked it into gear. And I think you saw what you're gonna continue to see is just probably the best team in the NFL right now."
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's take a vote here. Game of the week: 49ers, Packers, or Chiefs, Bills?
Chiefs, Bills.
Yeah, Chiefs, Bills.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Chiefs, Bills on that one. That game was just, I didn't really get the chance to watch it, but I saw the highlights of that game. That was a very interesting finish there. And while we're on the topic of this, I think kickers are. Yeah. I know there's been a lot of things that kickers are complaining people don't take the position seriously. But then when you have I don't know if it's just lately, but ever since the NFL's been going, for history, kickers have had a seriously good accuracy when it comes to hitting field goals, PATs, etc. This year and last year feels like just kicking through the uprights is an impossible thing. Am I the only one that's noticing this?
Yeah, they always miss it. It's just funny how a guy like that just sits on the sidelines, and then it comes down to the Bills game where your entire seats and the entire organization comes down to whether or not you kick it through the uprights or not. It's a lot of pressure, and you can see. I don't know if he caved under the pressure. Some people are saying the snap was a little off, but.
Did you guys see the wind of that?
Yeah, it was behind him, right?
It was behind him, but then
it was going this
direction. To the right, which he missed.
Yeah, but no, I thought that was interesting. Just but I don't know. I keep seeing these reports saying kickers, they're feeling disrespected, but it's just you guys aren't helping yourselves by missing these kicks. And how far was the kick again?
44 yards.
44 yards. That's really, if you really look at it, I know it's still far distance, but that's not on the 34-yard line. You should be hitting that every single time. And not to mention, that's Tyler Bass too. It's not some random kicker like Ryan Bullock or something. I mean, he's decent, but that's Tyler Bass, who was going into the season as the number one kicker behind Justin Tucker. You know what I'm saying?
Can I just make one more point?
Yeah,
also, it's a lot to put on the kickers, but previous to that, Stephon Diggs got to catch the ball. I don't know if you said you weren't watching, but he had a deep pass, went right through it. Put him right there. Okay, there's that. And then you got Josh Allen 2 times, wide open guy in the end zone, missed him, and then he short threw another guy in the end zone because it looked like maybe he was playing for the field goal. And you put all the pressure on that guy. People got to make plays. And I just, last thing, the Bills, I feel really bad for them because I had them in our pool. I had them winning the Super Bowl. I really thought they were going to beat the Chiefs at home. And I was like a 9-year-old little kid when the Bills missed a field goal against the Giants in the Super Bowl. I remember going nuts because the Giants won, but I felt so bad for Scott Norwood. And it was wide right. And I was watching that game, and it was a little bit of a flashback. My son's 9, and he's watching, and he felt so bad for that guy. And the announcer's like, wide right. It was just I don't know, it's just weird.
I think with the Bills, like, they went on like this rebuild, and it's going really well. And if I had to honestly look at the Bills rebuild, I know Mr. J might disagree with me on this. I see the Bills rebuild as the New York Rangers rebuild. The Rangers, they got a lot of really good players, and they went through this massive rebuild, and they made it to the playoffs, and they're just getting disappointed every single time. Like they're getting new head coaches, and it's not going well. And it's like the Bills, you got to find is it Josh Allen's fault? Is it management fault? Like you don't just make the playoffs 4 years in a row, have dominant teams be a huge favorite, and just not win.
It's hard to win in this league, man. It's hard to win in the playoffs. And next year,
the Chiefs have made it to the AFC Championship 7 years in a row.
Yeah.
Is it really hard?
Well, when you look at, I think the Bills are a better team than the Chiefs talent-wise. But both teams have a great quarterback. I don't know. You can debate who's better on that one.
Right.
Bills have great wide receiver Stephon Diggs, but even the Chiefs, they don't have anybody. They have a good running back, Isaiah Pacheco, but I don't know. I just think the Bills... Travis Kelce, that's...
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe the Chiefs just adapt more. Maybe they change, they just adapt to who they have in the personnel because they've had turnover. They lost Tyreek Hill, and they're still winning.
Yeah, I don't know. Tyreek, it's just Patrick Mahomes is going to be – I'm just going to say it. Patrick Mahomes is a new Tom Brady. He is just –
give him more years and he'll win more Super Bowls.
Patrick Mahomes, honestly, I think if anybody's going to come close to contending to a GOAT title with Tom Brady, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. He had the best tight end – he still does – the best wide receiver, and even the Legion of Zoom – you know what I'm saying? And then he loses all that. The very next year wins the Super Bowl against an Eagles team that was stacked. And look at him, and he's brought the Chiefs 7 straight AFC championships, or 7 straight AFC championship appearances. That does not just happen.
He needs another. If he gets another Super Bowl, maybe we put him in the conversation with Brady. But he's got to win another Super Bowl.
Well,
who's behind Brady in Super Bowl rings?
Probably Joe Montana.
What is he, 5 or 4?
Joe Montana has 4. Terry Bradshaw has 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, also, when you look at it, you got to give Andy Reid some credit.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's coached... Patrick Mahomes got drafted to the MLB before he got drafted to the NFL. So, he wasn't even that good of a quarterback. And then he raised him to what he is now. And now... with no wide receivers, he's still making him. I just give props to Andy Reid.
One thing with the Tom Brady thing, just his first couple Super Bowl rings, Tom Brady didn't have any receivers either. He made the receivers. He got Randy Moss later, and they had that 50 touchdown thing. Right, but Tom Brady didn't have much. And the other thing with Tom Brady, if we're going to have this, Tom Brady was in an awful division. All they did was beat up on the crappy Dolphins, the crappy Jets, and the Bills didn't have Josh. You know what I mean? It was just they weren't in the best division.
The Jets are just terrible for years.
Right.
The Dolphins.
He always had a bye.
They didn't really have it. They didn't really have a team. And then Tannehill came in, and he did okay with the franchise. And then Tua's been doing good, but I think the Dolphins really popped off when Tyreek came to the team, and then
Then they got Tua.
And I'd like to ask you guys: do you think that Waddle would have been the same player today had he not had Hill?
No.
I think it would have been a worse player, to be honest.
Yeah, there's definitely a complimentary aspect.
He's still he would be wide receiver 1, but he would still play like a wide receiver 2. He's just not as good as Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
he's not as good as Tyreek Hill, but he's probably one of the top wide receivers.
He is really
in the
good.
AFC, I would say. No,
Tyreek Hill?
No, Waddle.
Oh, Waddle? He's still. I think, and I could be wrong. I think that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle have the best are the best wide receiver duo in the league.
Yeah, I think Jalen Waddle is the best second wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so enough about the Chiefs and the Bills. Let's go on to the 49ers and Packers. First off, what a game. The Packers did surprise me a little bit. I didn't think they were going to hold on to the 49ers as much as they did. So what is everybody's thoughts on the game?
I was honestly, before the game even happened, I had a feeling the Packers would have a very good chance at this because, like, you see how they played against the Cowboys, steamrolled them, and then just going into this game, I felt that they were going to keep performing that way, which they did against the 49ers defense, which is the best in the league, or close with the Ravens. So,
Can I just say this? The Eagles' defense disappointed me this year. I was really disappointed.
Everything about them disappointed everybody.
Jalen Hurts disappointed me.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins would have had a really good defense if they didn't have so much injuries.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That was a team that you think that was just on the trajectory to, take out Mahomes, and they just got hurt. They got hurt.
Also, you're playing. I'd like to ask you guys this. Miami Dolphins, they play in Miami, Florida. It's like 80 degrees there in the winter.
And then going to Kansas City.
Do you guys think that temperature plays a major role in terms of do the Chiefs players have an advantage because they're familiar with these conditions?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Absolutely.
the Dolphins are 0 something while playing in cold weather. I'm pretty sure.
I've seen that stat as well. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know how much research it is, but yeah, it's probably just a mental thing and a comfort thing. I mean, being away alone is obviously a disadvantage, and then being away, in sub-zero temperatures, it's got I would say advantage for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Any other concluding thoughts on the 49ers-Packers game, guys?
No, other than that, Jordan Love looked really, really good, and maybe if they get him some players, I mean, I think, that he might be a staple in the NFC playoffs from now on. And if you're Aaron Rodgers, you got to be like, oh, man.
Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was hurt, so you didn't really have
No, I'm just saying that you left the Packers, and, they don't even need you.
Yeah, I know, but they had a franchise that was I feel like it kind of sucks because Aaron Rodgers, because if Aaron Rodgers actually played this year, would the Jets have made the playoffs? Probably, maybe. I'd say they would have.
Because they have Garrett Wilson and Lazard.
Exactly. They have the players to do it.
We'll see.
But my thing is, if you, Aaron Rodgers didn't really have this season to prove that the Packers needed me and I didn't need the Packers.
I'm telling him he's gonna prove himself this upcoming year.
Yeah, and also I'd like to just say this while we're out there. Brock Purdy's a beast. He's back in the NFC Championship game. He was a 262nd pick in the NFL draft, and he's just his second season. I think absolutely amazing talent.
It's a good story.
Right there.
Yeah,
it's a really good story.
It's a good story.
All right, what do you guys say we wrap up this podcast with our predictions for the championship game? So, Jack, who do you got winning, and who do you have going to the Super Bowl and winning?
So for the Ravens-Chiefs, as much as I think the Ravens are gonna win, I have to go with the Chiefs because I think Patty Mahomes is gonna work his magic, and they're gonna pull it off with the upset. And then, who is it? Lions versus the 49ers. I think 49ers are definitely gonna win that game. I think unless Matthew Stafford comes up, and then I have the Chiefs winning the whole thing.
Matthew Stafford.
Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
true?
Goff.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you mix those two up.
All right, Vaughn,
They
what's
played each
your
other.
prediction?
I think the Lions are going to beat the 49ers as an upset, and I think the Ravens are going to beat the Chiefs and end the Taylor Swift stuff.
Bro. She was invited to play at the Super Bowl.
While we're on the topic of this, do you guys think the Taylor Swift thing is a marketing thing? Do you think that there's
the fix is in?
Do you think Kelsey and Swift break up after the season ends?
No.
I don't think the NFL wants them to. They're going to make millions and millions of dollars.
I think it's a market thing.
Easier too.
And so for my predictions, I'm going to say, as much as I want the Ravens and the Lions to play each other, I think the Chiefs and the 49ers are going to go to the bowl. As much as I don't want that happening, I think that's what's going to happen. But I would kill for the Lions and the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl. And my winner, I'd probably go with the Lions. Just the whole story and the heart behind it. But that's who I'd want. But my realistic predictions, I see the 49ers taking it all the way. Mr. J?
I can't wait for this. I gotta agree with the detention kid. I gotta go. I'm gonna go with the good story. I think the Lions are they're just unstoppable right now. They've bought into the coach, who's just a maniac. I appreciate Brock Purdy and everything he's done this year, but he's gonna make some mistakes. I think Hutchinson's gonna be all over him, and no matter what he does, he's gonna make a couple mistakes, and that's gonna turn the tide. Taking the Lions. And I also agree. I want the Chiefs to go away. I've had enough of the Chiefs. I don't need all the Super Bowl stuff with all the things. How many times they're going to cut to Taylor Swift? And again, all of that. I just want to watch a football game and not bring in all that other nonsense. I'd like to see Lamar and the Ravens, because I think they're the best team in the NFL. So Ravens, Lions, and can I wait? Do I have to say who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Just give your right now.
I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, there you have it from the Sports Talk Club. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back here talking about the Super Bowl, and hopefully it's the Lions and the Ravens, and we will see you guys next time.
Adios.